Okay, Capricorn. I tried this once and it didn't go very well, so we're going to try again. But I'm going to start off with the oracle cards this time. Yeah, the last video, Sophie decided that it was time to come inside and the dogs might not, so here we are. What does the universe want Capi to know? The last reading, you had some healing to do. You're kind of going about it a little bit in a distraction. It was really, it was a good reading. Earthing was the thing. Sophie's on the chair over here. Ebbs and flows, which also came out in the last reading for you. That for whatever reason, YouTube's telling me something about metadata not uploading. Interesting. Gifts of the lonely path. Love forgives distance. Oh, and this one also came out in the last one, which is our shadows are beautiful. Indeed they are. And I mentioned in that video that didn't upload that, you know, we have the internet now, so we can pretty much research anything we want about humanity and what's going on. And we kind of already know all the nasty, horrible, wretched things that can happen on the planet. At least those of us who are doing our human homework. And so what's left for us in the shadows is complete and utter beauty and glory. And the things from, you know, the things from childhood that we kind of forgot about. Looking at the stars, appreciating things. Understanding that there is a greater purpose for us here. And, you know, we are looking for them in different areas, right? So right now is shadow season. We're looking for them in the history of our life and recognizing where things ebb and flow. Life is always going to ebb and flow. It doesn't matter what you're going through. You could have a zillion pentacles in the bank with whatever it is you want. A significant other, a no significant other, whatever it is. Everything you ever dreamed of could be yours, and life is still going to ebb and flow, right? So you're starting to kind of realize that and bringing things together. And recognizing that your shadow is where most of the beauty in life actually exists. Because what's in the light right now is pretty dang awful, right? You know, with the stuff going on in Iran and whatnot. Not that it's anything new, you know. We've gone through this repeatedly. We're on this cycle and we're like, could we knock it off already? But those cycles, you know, need to be recognized before they can be rectified and our energy shifted into a new way of living. So, and it's not the people, it's the energies. It's the energies. So, Ginger. 8 of Wands. So, there's a message coming in. Hot and heavy. So ginger's good for like colds, like mucusy things. It's hot, it's heated. Like if you've ever had raw ginger, just like taking a little nibble of it. Whoo, talk about sense. Look at that. That's exactly what it does. The inside of your mouth. For just a second, and then it goes away. So it's not like, it's not like eating a jalapeno. It's just really, it's like eating too much clove. It's kind of similar to that, like everybody's eaten too much clove before, Sara. Hello. So But it's a really invigorating spice. It warms the body, right? It gets things moving, everything. Whether it be your sinuses or your blood or whatever it is. Ginger helps things move along, right? Because, yeah, I worked in a greenhouse for 12 years. Scorpio stellium, I had to dig really deep on what that... The ginger 2, ginger 2, hang on, is root, right? Root power. So whatever is down here, dude, whatever is in here, right? You need to ignite, okay? Whatever's in the root, okay? Whatever's inside this little thing right here needs to be birthed, right? Death and rebirth. It's not just death. Every time you have the death card, something has to be rebirthed. Those are the laws of the universe that man just does not get to escape. You don't. You don't get to escape it. Okay? You can rewrite whatever you want in man's law, but you don't get to escape that fact. Okay? So every time a death happens, something else has to take its place. Okay? And you can see that through the cycles of nature, right? So... Sorry, I needed to point that out because all of a sudden it was like, oh, forgot that part. So sweetgrass. That is at least in my parts, this is kind of a medicinal burning, like a switcher-upper for sage, Palo Santo, all that good stuff. Thank you for not jumping up on my lap, Sophie. So, and typically the natives will braid it like she's doing here, right? And then they'll burn it as like a cleansing. And it smells amazing when it burns. So maybe you're being called to not only go out into nature, but really get in touch with it. Literally in touch with it. So when we're talking about cleansing and whatnot and burning sage and poly, you always kind of want to switch it up, right? So what are we doing when we're doing that? Are we getting bad spirits out of our house? The ones that could come in and give us a cold or a flu or whatever have you. Yeah, those. So everything in the spiritual is connected down to the physical. I think we're getting there. Not a lot of people are willing to accept that in the white coat community, but we're getting there. So everything that happens in the spiritual comes down to the physical. So when universe is tapping you on the shoulder, I lovingly call it uni. When uni is tapping you on the shoulder and you repeatedly ignore it, it will bring you to your knees in the physical, whichever way it needs to. Whether it be through illness, which it usually is, whether it be through, moving and shifting things in your life that are not meant to be there without your consent because you didn't do it when you were called to, when uni tapped you on the shoulder and said, hey, this person doesn't have your best interest at heart. Your tribe is elsewhere. Keep moving. When you didn't listen to that, yeah. That's kind of, that's the universe's stage, right? That's the understanding that where sickness comes from is not the physical, spiritual realm. Just in case you weren't wondering. So the 6 of earth, okay? So the 6 of pentacle. Give and take, even flow. Even flow. Pearl Jam. Freaking awesome. But this also, so pine cones are symbolic of so many things. We don't have time to go through it all today, but they are an abundance draw in, because these little things, they start off actually closed and they open to get pollinated, right? And that's kind of the same thing with the thing up here, right? There's a statue somewhere in the world, some famous statue of a pine cone. And it's all about this opening up and receiving information from the divine, right? The source, the whatever you want to call it. So this is a burning of something. So this is not give and take in the sense of like you and another, you know, human exchanging resources. This is you saying, hey, divine energy, work some stuff in my life, and I'm going to release this and put it in the fire. So the best way to release things that you don't want in your life, memories, situations, what have you, is to write it all down on a piece of paper. Do not reread the piece of paper. Just write it down. You don't need to worry about spelling, grammar, anything. As long as your heart is just pouring out onto the piece of paper, writing everything down, and you want to release it and let go of it because it's bogging you down, write it on a piece of paper. And these, tying it to these actually helps the paper flame up, right? It'll ensure that that thing goes up into flames, and then the smoke from the flames rises up into the ethos, right? So that's the idea. So, you know, you can say woo-woo all you want, but when you give yourself that visual and your brain receives it, it automatically lets go, right? And if it doesn't, you forgot something. You haven't gotten to the root of the problem. Go back to your notebook, start writing again. Just an FYI. So there it is. The ancient art of giveaways is what it's technically called, by the way. And then you've got the 10 of air, right? Okay. So now you've completed the cycle, right? Death can occur. Okay? Death can occur. Dun, dun, dun. And something more precious can take its place. Okay? Right? I absolutely love this oracle deck. Okay, so the process is complete. And this is so, I love this deck too. Like, so symbolic. There's a silo for this guy to take over right here and be like, all right, I'll take it. It's all me now. Whatever you put in there, I got you. I got you. I'll take it and give you something else in return. Okay? That is what death does. Kind of a cool thing. But if you look, you know, if you live in the northern hemisphere, if you look around right now, everything's dying. Trees are falling. The leaves are falling off the trees. It's shedding all the branches that it no longer needs. I bring some into the house because I like the smell of it. So it's an energetic release of all of the things that no longer serve, which is where death and rebirth comes from. So when you pull a death card, there needs to be a rebirth thing on the other side. So cutting off the positive aspect and just focusing on the negative is going to perpetuate that negative, dreadful, fearful state. So when you pull a death card, please remember that it is rebirth on the other side of the death card. So if something's not meant for you and it has to die, then it's going to die one way or another, whether you release it or the universe decides to cut it out of your life, right? So that's where paying attention to spirit, paying attention to your roots, your core, where your fire's at, and following that. No matter what. No matter what. Okay? And I'm going to pull a few from the Abyss, the Tarot of the Abyss. That was the Herb Crafter's Tarot. I always call it Herbologist Tarot. It's not. It's the Herb Crafter's Tarot. And then I'm pulling from this one right now. And then there's Into the Lonely Woods. Or the... Yeah, Into the Lonely Woods. Where the wild things are. Okay, do we have anything else for Cappy other than that one card? I feel like he has a story left. Like there's something What are we stepping into this rebirth with for? Yada, yada, yada. One more, one more, one more. There. Ooh, two more. Ooh. Okay. Oh. Okay, so this one came out first. You got to do some reflecting, right? And that's what it was. The gifts of the lonely path and the ebbs and flows. And love forgives distance. I think you're reflecting upon the history of your life and where your cups have been, okay? Where your emotion runs deep, okay? And then you've got the Eight of Swords. So you think you're trapped, but you're not. You think you're trapped, but you're not. I'm just going to hold those two cards up right now. And let it sink for a hot second while I take a drink of coffee. So, whatever it is you feel trapped in, all she needs to do is take one of those swords and and she's free. Right? So maybe just cut something. Cut something. Okay. And again, this is just energy. It doesn't have to be male or female. It's just yin or yang, masculine or feminine energy. Right? So what also fell out is the Justice. And the King of Pentacles. Okay. So I don't know if that's you, Capricorn. And this is some sort of significant other's energy. Or if this is your energy altogether. And the things that you released are going to be taken care of by the universe. But that's definitely the vibe I'm getting. All in all, good read. Learning lots, moving forward. Letting go of what no longer serves and keeping yourself protected. Trying not to make those same mistakes again is what I'm getting. Really ending that cycle for good and moving into something new entirely. That's brave energy. Way to go, Cap. We'll see you later.